One of the most common complaints I hear over and over is weight gain, especially belly fat around the midsection. Many women are fine in their 20s and even their 30s, but once they move into their 40s, their bodies no longer cooperate. And now they have a muffin top or spare tire. Diet and lifestyle have not changed much, but all of a sudden, the weight keeps going up. To make it even more frustrating, what used to work to get rid of the weight no longer works. Going on a diet and exercising a bunch used to work when you were 25, but once you hit your 40s, that approach no longer works. No matter how much you exercise, you can't get the weight to budge. In fact, you have noticed that you have gained even more weight despite exercising 4 to 5 times per week. I understand how important it is for you to lose weight, and I want you to have success in your weight loss efforts. Unfortunately, some of the standard advice you have heard on how to lose belly fat might be making your situation worse. I have put together a list from Dr. John Fitzgerald's book, Fat Loss the Truth, which is part of the newest research to get you headed in the right direction. Number one, reduce your stress. Reducing stress is easier said than done. We all have stress in our lives, but this is by far the most important thing on the list because stress is causing all the problems. And when I say stress, I mean cortisol, which is referred to as the stress hormone. Cortisol is an important metabolic hormone that we can't live without. It helps us to survive on a daily basis. Some short periods of stress are beneficial to the body, and it can increase energy, mood, concentration, and boost immune function. However, as stress becomes chronic, the body can't keep up and begins to regress, and the weight gain is often a result. Do your best to try and reduce your stress, whether it's seeing a therapist, removing toxic people from your life, listening to music, or going on a vacation. However, I understand it can be challenging to eliminate the stress. Number two, get better sleep. Insomnia and sleep issues in general is one of the most common problems for men and women. With work, kids, and finances, you already have a lot on your plate. Not being able to sleep only makes it worse. Stress and sleep go hand in hand, and unfortunately, the more stress we have, the worse we sleep. This is because your cortisol is elevated at night. Elevated levels of cortisol at night will result in trouble falling asleep and staying asleep. If sleep is disrupted, then we can't get the rest and cell repair that we need. And over time, not sleeping adds to your stress level and causes continual weight gain. Number three, don't drink your calories. Liquid calories of any sort can have a significant glycemic impact, meaning it can raise your blood sugar and insulin excessively. This includes soda, coffee drinks, energy drinks, fruit juices, beer, wine, and liquor. All the fun stuff, right? It also includes artificial sweeteners in our beverages. Even though artificial sweeteners are marketed to have no caloric value, they still cause your insulin to rise, which is exactly what needs to be minimized. Number four, eat less often. Every time you eat, your blood sugar goes up. As a result, insulin is secreted to deal with blood sugar. Eating small, frequent meals causes your blood sugar and insulin to bounce up all day long. And this constant rise and fall to blood sugar and insulin often becomes too much for the body to handle. As I already said, insulin is the only fat storing hormone. If your insulin is rising all day long, the more weight you're going to store, and especially in your belly. Number five, reduce cardio or high intensity exercise. A fitness trend that has become popular over the last few years is high intensity interval training. This has been coined as one of the best ways to burn fat and lose weight. There's benefits to exercise, but you have to remember that exercise of any kind is stress to the body. That means exercise will raise cortisol levels. The more intense and the more frequent the exercise, the more cortisol your body needs to engage in the activity. A quick note about cortisol. Cortisol is categorized as a glucocorticoid hormone, which means it is a steroid hormone that influences blood glucose. Cortisol helps us get from meal to meal. If we eat something in the morning for breakfast, blood sugar goes up and insulin rises in response to the glucose. Over the next few hours, blood sugar and insulin reduce and glucagon and cortisol goes up and tells the body to make more glucose. Cortisol signals the liver to produce glucose by the process called gluconeogenesis. The liver releases more glucose into the blood, so the pancreas secretes insulin to compensate. The more intense and frequent the exercise, the more cortisol is released. The more blood sugar the liver will release, which results in more insulin. The presence of insulin signals the body to keep storing fat, especially around the middle. For women, belly fat is an indication of cortisol-induced stress, weight gain. Many women will tell me they're exercising 4 to 6 times a week and they're doing some boot camp, spin class, or high intensity cardio class of some sort. I can't stress enough, the key to losing weight, especially belly fat, is balancing your hormones. By replacing your intense cardio with weightlifting and walking, you will have a dramatic effect on your insulin and cortisol levels, meaning a dramatic impact on weight loss in your midsection. Number 6, increase resistant-based exercise. So the goal of exercise is to balance and optimize insulin and cortisol. Resistance training helps the body increase insulin sensitivity. This increased insulin sensitivity makes the pancreas more efficient at managing blood sugar, meaning your pancreas will produce less insulin over time. Remember, insulin is the only fat-storing hormone. With a lower insulin burden, this allows the body to mobilize body fat and burn it for energy. And that means less belly fat. Number 7, reduce sugar and refined carbs. And this might seem obvious, but it's worth mentioning. The average American consumes between 200 and 300 grams of carbohydrates on a daily basis. This puts enormous pressure on the pancreas to produce enough insulin. Remember, carbohydrates convert to glucose and sugar in the blood. That signals insulin production from the pancreas. The more refined or processed the carbohydrate, the more glucose rises. So the more insulin is skyrocketing in your bloodstream. A piece of cake is going to have more of an elevated level of glucose and oversecretion of insulin than an apple. Over time, due to the chronic oversecretion of insulin, your liver, muscles, in your brain stop responding to insulin and blood glucose will start to rise. The body tries to fix the problem and lower blood sugar by secreting more insulin, which only makes the situation worse. The process is called insulin resistance, which is also called prediabetes. It also affects 1/3 of the US population. This translates to about 100 million people that are insulin resistant in the United States. Carbohydrates in general are not bad and should not be avoided. However, it is all about consuming the right kind of carbohydrates at the right time. In fact, carbs can be very helpful when engaging in resistance training based exercise and can be used as a part of the recovery process. Number 8, consume more healthy fats. Since about the 1950s, we've been told to avoid fat. It has been a food villain for decades. Back in the 90s, the craze was anything low fat. Some of these beliefs still exist today, but I want to encourage you to consume more healthy fats on a consistent basis. One of my rules is you need fat to lose fat. And of course, you still want to stay away from trans fats, hydrogenated oils, and vegetable oils. Healthy fats are foods like nuts, seeds, healthy quality animal protein, wild caught fish, real butter, egg yolks, and avocados. Plus, when you lower your carbohydrate consumption, your caloric intake will decrease as well. Increase your fat intake will help you to offset the calories lost from reducing your carbs. And the other good thing about fat is that it does not raise blood sugar or insulin. When we eat fat by itself, there's virtually zero impact on blood sugar and insulin. This is a great way to get some calories but minimize the blood sugar and insulin spike. However, something to keep in mind, fat by itself or fat with a protein source has minimal impact on blood sugar and insulin, but fat consumed with carbs has a significant effect on blood sugar and insulin. If you're going to consume fats, it is best not to have too many carbs at the same time. Number 9, consume enough protein. I do encourage a low carb, high fat diet, but is also relative to the person and situation. The body needs essential fatty acids and essential amino acids provided by protein to function properly. Plus, protein also contains B vitamins, iron, and other minerals that are necessary to the fat loss process. Number 10, improve liver function. The liver is an amazing organ. It is involved in over 600 different metabolic processes, and it plays a significant role in energy metabolism. So if you want to burn more fat efficiently, then you need to be gentle on your liver. What you do and eat every day is what matters the most. Things that burden the liver are caffeine, alcohol, sugar, medications, and stress. The more of these compounds you consume, the more sluggish the liver will work over time. And it can lead to fatigue, digestive issues, and weight gain. Moderation or infrequent consumption of those things can be very helpful in making sure your liver is working to its full capacity. These protocols to lose belly fat will help balance glucose and reduce cortisol and insulin burdens. It will also help your liver function more efficiently. By reducing the burden of cortisol, especially at night, will help you sleep better. Losing weight, specifically belly fat, is not impossible, but you do have to have the right strategy to get the results you want. For more information, go to mynutritionadvisor.com to learn more about healthy weight loss.